So King Gizz are back with some relentless metal riffing in all manner of time signatures. So let's delve into the Gizz verse. So even though it sounds like there's maybe some baritone guitar or some 7-string or, you know, different tunings going on, we can do this whole thing in standard tuning with a capo on the 2nd fret. So Dragon is in B minor, and that gives us an open B note on what was the A string. Now the tempo for Dragon is 145 BPM, that's your quarter notes. So it's pretty pacey. This awesome song kicks off with a frantic 11/8 melody up around the 11th fret. The trick with this first riff is getting that open B note in amongst the melody there. So it's just after the 14th fret on the D string. Straight out of the intro we head into the first 9/8 section, and this one is a simpler riff. It's almost just the one pattern 3 times, but the last time we pick it less. It's just a hammer on from our 5th to 7th, or 3rd to 5th if you're counting from the capo, and we just hammer on. And the 3rd time, just play those 8th notes. And the 4th time that riff is played, we replace the last note with the 8th fret. Right, the next section rips into this 7/8 riff, which is, I think, a real signature of the song. It's really catchy. So I'm playing the 17th fret on the A string, pulling off, play the 16th fret on the A string, pull off, and then play that A string, which is a B note because of the capo. That's the main figure. The second time we do it, we grab that E note, that 14th fret on the D string. Second time we go through that, we replace that E note with a B note. Now the next section is the first like chug riff. It's again in 7/8, but it's like a low open B string on the original. So the way I get around that when I have to play something that I'm not tuned down to or I don't have a string for, I play a 5 chord inverted. So the 5th is in the bass. So instead of this being my lowest note, I'm playing it like with the open E string, or it's an F sharp note underneath. So it's like a low B5 chord. You get away with it. With drums going, it sounds pretty heavy. Okay, so after this 7/8 verse, we go back into that riff, but this time a harmony guitar comes in and it's just playing the exact same thing but a minor third higher, and we can do those both together. So now we head back to 11/8 for this staccato chord riff. It's counted like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Straight out of that pattern, the band slips into 12/8, adding another single 8th note for this really cool pattern filled with pull-offs and hammer-ons. So it's like the same thing 3 times. We're doing a hammer-on the D string at the 7th to 9th, then 9th to open or 2nd fret on the A string. Then we repeat that pattern, but 1 string up, 2 frets back. So 5, 7 on the A string, 7 open on the E string. Then the riff concludes with same sort of pattern, just played on 1 string. Does that a couple of times and then does a bit of a wacky Gizz verse scale before we go back into the pentatonic one. The next section is in 10/8, another new time signature, and we need to use that low 5 chord trick again because they use the low B on this section. So it's a pretty straightforward one, although there's a cool harmony part that happens. So while the band keeps chugging away on that, one of the guitars plays the same thing but down a string a couple of times and then up a couple of frets. It becomes a harmony part to the original riff. Now the next section is the only part that I can't really replicate as well as I would like to without a 7-string guitar or without a baritone guitar or something that I can get right down to a low B on. So it's back in 7/8 and I've got a few different ways we can try and play this. One way is just to move any notes that are too low up an octave and we end up with this. Another way is just to transcribe the entire riff up an octave, which sounds pretty cool. But another way is to do a quick sly capo move to the 1st fret and play it this way. Now this next section I absolutely love. It's so much fun to play along with. And we've got 2 new time signatures for this section. It's a bar of 6/4 followed by a bar of 7/4. And again, I have to admit it would be even more fun if I had a 7 string and could do this down on the 3rd fret to open on the low B. But still heaps of fun just doing it right here. Now over this riff, there's like a really cool, typical King Gizz guitar melody. The tricky thing is, the band actually go into 4/4 for this section, but the guitar riff crosses the beat quite a lot, so it still has that off-kilter feel about it. Then that section is played an octave higher. And then finally we've got our chugging outro riff. We're back in 11/8. That's heaps of fun even without a 7 string or being tuned down. So look, I hope you found your way through all of that. As always, I've written up some tabs there over on SoundSlice, or you can get PDF versions of pretty much everything I do over on my Patreon. Would love some support. Don't forget to thumb one in softly for me. Give me a shout out in the comments. I don't know, do whatever you can be bothered doing to promote the channel a little bit for me. See you next week.